Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle. Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, cooking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slacking your land. Hopping the sprinters. Tore the underworld, popping the mentor. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still manage like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. What do you mean? We up and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck a Febreze, running the banks, causing a crash and feather the feds. Moorish the fashion, horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting, mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm, it's Bentley receipts. Washing the benches, we rinse and repeat. Say for yourself, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a bright lean. The hunger was biting, Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still manage like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. What do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck a Febreze, running the banks, causing a crash and feather the feds. Moorish the fashion, horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting, mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm, it's Bentley receipts. Washing the benches, we rinse and repeat. Say for yourself, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a bright lean. The hunger was biting, biting.
I can bring you straight to the curricula that I use without a foundation. So this 4 weeks will be used to familiarize people with the process, with the protocol, and you will get some skills in how to delineate and erect a chart if you're studious. It requires studies. There's no shortcuts, right? That's why it's gonna be 4 weeks, all right? And you have the opportunity to get ready to use astrology in any means that you build your capacity to use it. Right? You're gonna have to study hard. It ain't gonna be a walk through the park. It's a complex science. Okay, but I do have a means by which to simplify it, where other people have left it complicated. Right? I've been doing it for quite some time, so I found all kinds of shortcuts, and this is what I'll be showing. Right? You come prepared to the class. All right, be prepared to do some long division. All right. And some addition, right?
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of Third Eye Thursdays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Give it up for yourself. We are back in these YouTube streets, y'all. Talk black to me. You dig? We are back in these YouTube streets. God is good. They had me banned, my niggas. They had this channel banned. They was talking, they gave me a strike up in this bitch. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they had me on some Trump shit. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas had me some Trump. Yeah, they try to Trump the page, y'all, on some real you're posting medical misinformation and all of that. They got butthurt about a video that Blue Pill did, and he mentioned something about C19, and these niggas got real vanilla with me and gave me a strike and wasn't allowing me to go live. That sounds so weak, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Until we close a deal with one of these billionaires and get these motherfucking networks and own these streets, these digital streets, we gotta play by these rules where they could censor you and do all of these fuck things, man. But we back, and I'm not here to talk about that. So many things that are going on in the world. Let's get right back on it like we never left. Let's do the roll call. Shout out to everybody in the building on this Friday. You know what I'm talking about? You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. So I appreciate that. Let's do the roll call. All right. Let's see who's in the building. All right. Shout out to everybody that I seen today at the Invest Fest. Yeah, it was a lituation. It was litty. So we're gonna talk about that too, amongst other things. Harlem in the building. Yeah, nigga, we got Rice Street in the building. Yeah. Yeah, Fulton County, nigga, Rice Street. Yeah, talk black to me. Yeah, where presidents go to get booked. We got Rice Street in the building. Boop, boop. You know what I'm talking about? Beep, beep. That's the shot of the police. Harlem in the building. We got Oak Cliff. Long live Mo 3, nigga. Yeah, Maryland in the building. Naptown. Chino Hills in the building. Pontiac in the building. Greenville, South Carolina. You know what I'm talking about? We got Bay Area up in this thing. Charlotte. Shout out to Charlotte. We have Indianapolis, London in this ting. Yeah, Sanford, Florida. We got Mississippi, Kansas City, Stone Mountain. Shout out to everybody that's calling me about the Stone Mountain excursion on 9/9. That is going to be another movie right there. One for the record books. Shout out to everybody that's booking flights to come to the ATL on 9/9 to return to Crystal Mountain, aka Stone Mountain, and then on 9/10 to pull up to DMT 23 Dark Matter Timing with AA Rashid, Blue Pillar and Red Pillar in the ATL on 9/10. All right, the art show and the experience and the lecture that we're gonna be doing. Yeah, shout out to all of y'all. Las Vegas, we got Dallas in here, we got Texas in here, Los Angeles. KTL University is the link. Somebody was just asking for that. There's no link to Stone Mountain. You just pull up. Yeah, 9/10. I'll give you the link to that. That's KTL University, and that will be streaming right below me, right there. KTLUniversity.com. Go and get your tickets for the exclusive event that we have on 9/10. I will be bringing AA on the show. I will be bringing Blue Pill on the show very soon so we could break down the DMT 23 event for y'all. That is going to be very special. I promise you. You know what I'm talking about? I promise you. That is going to be super duper lit. You know what I mean? Ireland in the building, North Korea up in this thing. You dig? Yeah, DMT 23. Uh-huh. You said, where's the Columbus video? What you talking about? Yeah, coming for show. Yeah, pull up. It's a movie. It's gonna be an event to one for the record books. One for the record books, you know. We tapping into our artistic bag, and that's a sight to see. You feel me? That is a sight to see. It's going to be one for the record books, and it's also going to be some dope merch that we'll be having in the building, by the way. Tomorrow, if you're in Atlanta, tomorrow, Saturn Day, we're going to be doing an event with the brother Bashir, aka Ampu, Moses Ampu, and 19 Keys. They're gonna be doing an event, a networking event, and it's also an album release for Bashir for a new project that he had that's gonna be fire, a performance. It's going to be a performance, and it's also going to be a networking event. So pull up if you were if you were in town for Invest Fest, or if you in the ATL or surrounding areas. I'll drop the link for that before the night is through, so you could pull up to that. That's going to be exclusive, and I have my merchandise there as well. I will have clothing there. I'll have some jewelry there, and I'll also have some digital products. So that's tomorrow in a private location for the ticket holders. You'll know where it's at, and that's tomorrow, Atlanta. You dig? Pittsburgh in the building. We got Cali in the building. We have Cashville, Tennessee in the thing. Oh, the Christopher Columbus didn't exist? Yeah. The video is on, I didn't say check YouTube. It's on my page. Champaign, Illinois. Was goody, was goody. Modesto, California, checking in. Shout out to you, King. You dig? I'll probably play that Columbus video before the night is out and whatnot. You dig? The FDR video that I posted, yeah, the FDR shit was crazy. Tallahassee, shout out to the Tallahassee family. You know what I mean? Shout out to the VA family. Wagwan. Yeah, man. So, hope everybody was, in good spirits and things of that nature. And y'all was taking care of yourselves over these past 10 days or 11 days since we last spoke. But boy, oh boy, a lot of things have taken place in the in what I call, and now I could really say it and it makes sense, the arena, right, of the politics, right? The world stage of politics, or the theater of politics. There you go. That's the word that I was looking for. The theater of politics have ramped up to a whole nother notch since we last seen each other and spoke to each other and built with each other. What we know as the proverbial shit show has officially started while we were gone. Not on our watch, but the official shit show that we were predicting, right? That was going to start. And when it started, it was going to distract the average American. And it was going to be such a shit show that the average man, woman, and child will become, quote unquote, swept up, right? In its shittiness. Okay. And we said on this show, we were avowed. I remember we did like a group, not a group prayer, but we did like a group agreement or group contract to where we was like, we're not going to get distracted. We're going to hold it down for the whole calendar year of 2023 going into 2024, because we know this political theater for 2024, right, is going to be a shit show unlike anything that we've ever seen. And it's almost like when a hurricane comes through, you got to make sure that you have a strong foundation and you're bolted to the ground, or you are going to get caught up and swept up and whatnot and get thrown in all different directions like tumbleweed, right? That's exactly what's happening right now. People who supposed to be holding on to a solid surface, what are they doing? They're getting blown in the wind, right? They're quote unquote blowing around like tumbleweed. Motherfuckers went from riding the fence to just getting blown in any direction. So on Wednesday, they were anti-Trump. Then on Thursday, when he was getting locked up in Atlanta, niggas turned pro-Trump and whatnot. So now you have a majority of melanated people. The seeds have been sown for this new, quote unquote, Trump, black niggas for Trump. Let me just say that. this new iteration of niggas for Trump, right? Because they had dudes walking around with those t-shirts, niggas for Trump. As a matter of fact, I put a visual to the goddamn statement. Let's go ahead and Google niggas for Trump. Okay. But now the niggas for Trump, because the niggas for Trump conversation, right? The niggas for Trump conversation, it ramped up almost overnight. You understand what I'm saying? The niggas for Trump conversation was kind of mundane this Monday. When we all woke up on Monday, we knew that there was niggas for Trump, but we ain't know that there was niggas for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a new nigga for Trump. Mysteriously and somewhat, I would say magically, niggas for Trump's multiplied overnight. You know what I'm talking about? We didn't know that we had so many closet niggas for Trump until until they put those handcuffs on this nigga. Then miraculously, niggas for Trumps started popping out of trunks. You know what I'm saying? And now we are living in a fucking twilight zone of NPC. Yes. Of NPC niggas for Trump. Yes. Glizzy gobblers. Right? These are NPCs. It's the same shit that you saw with motherfucking Pinky Doll and Sexy Red. These niggas are clones. They're NPCs. It's Attack of the NPCs. The NBCs done turn into NPCs. They're cloning the worst versions of themselves. You know what I'm talking about? The niggas done multiplied. So niggas for Trump done multiplied overnight, y'all. And they're going to be on the front line giving Democrats and niggas for Biden a very hard time. Going into 2024, just like that. Henceforth, I said, or we were saying, you know what I'm saying? Stay focused. Focus on what really matters. And it's not this shit. And it damn sure it's not the orange head. It's not about going after Fanny Wilson, you weird niggas. That's not the fucking, you know what I mean? You niggas went from Montgomery, Alabama to this. That's what you telling me? You niggas went from Montgomery, Alabama with the lawn chairs. You niggas was doing drive-bys in a lawn chair to this. Just like that. You understand? You took that shit that personal that Trump got locked up, that you niggas are ready for a civil war. Shit crazy. You know what I'm talking about? You went from the folding white chair, the lawn chair to this. So Trump gets locked up. The motherfucking Prezor, whatever his name is, that nigga in Russia gets knocked off. You understand? The shit going crazy outside. They having fire tornadoes, nigga. So think about it. We was like, you know what? We can't afford to be distracted. We can't afford to be distracted. We can't afford to lose focus. We can't afford to take our collective focus off of 2024. We can't afford to be played anymore by either side of the political party, because we made the decision in 2023 that, we know that this is a crock of shit while we still have our senses and whatnot, because sooner than later, the propaganda campaign is going to ramp up so strong that you're going to forget that you don't have no dog in the race and we don't fuck with either party. We're going to forget that quickly. And look at what happened. Look how fast this shit has come to pass. And now our people are playing that game. And they're not going to unplay the game. I guarantee you that. Once they're in this game, they in this shit to the end. They're in this shit until the very end of 2024, until that last ballot gets counted. Niggas are invested in seeing Donald Trump get reelected just like that. You feel me? So the simple fact that they locked him up in Fulton County, the simple fact that he had to get booked at Wright Street. And if anybody is not from Atlanta, you don't have experience at Wright Street, and you don't know what Wright Street is, or you're not really familiar with the backstory of the jail, the Fulton County Jail on Wright Street, go and do the research about the dude who broke through the wall, right? It's a nigga who, there was an inmate who was chipping through the wall of a jail, right? Broke through the wall and ran into another cell block and stabbed a nigga in the shower and then came back into his other. That's Wright Street, y'all. That's Wright Street. That's the jail that they locked Donald Trump up in. The equivalent of Rikers Island, I guess, in Atlanta. You feel me? This shit is the hood. You feel me? He rode through the hood because you can't even get through Wright Street without going down Joseph Lowry and what. That nigga rode down. I think that's like Lil Baby's neighborhood. This nigga rode through the trenches for real. If he had jet lag and got on the got inside of the Denali or whatever Jeep he was in and happened to like fall out and take a nap and then miraculously woke up, this nigga would have been freaking out like, oh shit, y'all didn't tell me that I was in the Ukraine. Or you niggas didn't tell me I was in Burkina Faso. Because it's like a war zone out there. Yeah. So they took him to the bottom. They took him to the trenches. They took him to the gutter, and then booked him. But somehow, some way, that has almost, it seems like the minute that motherfucking mugshot hit, or the minute they booked him and put some handcuffs on him, it's almost like a ritual happened because niggas have now been interjected into the fuckery, into his script. They've been written into his into his campaign. The energy, the spirit, the soul, you know what I mean? You know, or the attention, because what you give attention to grows, right? And we are who? The Godhead, right? So by sacrificing him in this democratic city, right? This city that is not perfect, this city that is not without its corruption, this city that is almost like a pilot program to mad dysfunctional shit that the Democrats do, because this is the same city that's bringing in Cop City. This is the same city that's bringing in Cop City. This is the same city where that DA locked up a rapper by the name of Jeffrey Williams, Young Thug, but it's been rumored that she had an affair with the person that Jeffrey is accused of killing. That's what Donald Trump said. And come to pass, if he's able to prove that, not only will he be able to wiggle out of his case, his RICO case, but Trump is going to free another rapper. This time he's going to free the King Slime. Slat, nigga. Slat. The big slime. Because you know Trump frees slimes. He's the one that gets gremlins out of a bind. He did it with young Kodak and a few other gremlins that he got up out them cages. That's what Trump does. He releases the Kraken. You know what I'm saying? This is what he does. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, her name is Fanny. Her name is Fanny, and we was talking about Fanny a few times on this channel months ago. We've been told you about Fanny. Fanny want to be president. You know? Fanny is like, fuck it, I'm rolling the dice. Fanny is on her quote-unquote Kamala, because Kamala was a prosecutor in LA. She's a prosecutor in Atlanta. So if Fanny Willis takes out Young Thug and Trump, nigga, she's definitely headed for some type of higher office. Maybe the mayor of Atlanta, definitely the mayor of Atlanta. She's going for president. It's Fanny and motherfucking Kamala, nigga. Talk black to me, 2032. Or one of them days. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Fanny hit, nigga, Fanny want her dude back. Huh? You know what I'm talking about? Fanny coming like Fannie Mae, nigga. She's coming to collect. Black woman, where does that place you, right? Because he declared war against her, right? Donald Trump has problems with 2 black women now. He might start thinking that this is a black woman thing, right? Where's all my big mama advocates in the building and whatnot? Maybe this is it, right? Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the sign that Big Mama is out here cleaning shit up, right? Because it's gonna take, right? It's going to take. This is Fanny. Let me show you Fanny so y'all know her. If you could put a face to the name, right? She's lit in these Atlanta streets right now. Let me tell you something. She could get any favor from black old women that she asks because Fanny is out here cleaning niggas up. She could go into any black church right now and get a motherfucking withdrawal, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Fanny could pass a plate around and pay her rent for 3 years, nigga. They giving it up for Fanny in Atlanta. You understand? Big Fanny out here bagging niggas. And I ain't talking about her get her body count up either. It's a hot girl summer, nigga. Fanny is out here catching bodies. Is she Jamaican with a name like Fanny? Probably. You know what I'm talking about? I never bagged nothing named Fanny, but goddamn it, yeah, that Fanny right there. Yeah, so Fanny is outside, nigga. How about that? Fanny is outside. She cleaning niggas up. Cause if she gets away with this hot girl summer, if she gets away with this drill right here, if she takes down King Slime and Big Slime, nigga, King Koopa Trooper, yeah, she's a fucking boss, nigga. She's the new Giuliani. She's the new Giuliani. This was that Donald Trump is who John Gotti was when Giuliani took him out. You understand? That's who he is. He is the Teflon Don. He's untouchable. He's the big boss. Donald Trump is King fucking Koopa. Don't get it fucked up. You know what I mean? There's some I don't know what the enterprise is, what the name of the criminal enterprise is, but nigga, you better believe this nigga is a fucking kingpin of something. He the Grand Dragon or something, nigga. If you niggas don't believe that one, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Fanny is being used as a pawn. Tell us something that we don't know. You know what I'm talking about? The whole Atlanta is a pawn. Do you understand? Do you understand what the fuck Atlanta is? You're seeing it, and you're seeing it in full. You're seeing it in full swing. What Atlanta is, y'all. What Atlanta really works as. Atlanta is a fucking it's an experiment. You know? Going all the way back to my dude, the first whatchamacallit, the first mayor Maynard Jackson, right? And all that shit when they built the airport and all that, all that post-King shit. I feared I put him in a burning house type conversation. You understand? Atlanta been an experiment. You understand? I'm gonna show you something. Because they're playing in our face. They're showing us some shit that we might not want to see or want to ignore. But look at her from The Purge, right? Look at Shorty from The Purge, the black girl, right? Because we talking about images, right? We talking about how images work and how they play with images. And images are, images, they speak like words, right? So this is the girl Kimmy from The Purge. And this is, God damn it. This is the girl that they just locked up with Donald Trump, right? This is like the only black chick, the only bedwench, the only ghetto gagger out of the crew that they got. You know what I mean? This is Kanye's former publicist or whatever the fuck. I don't even know who she is. Never seen her. But she's giving me Purge vibes. Why is she smiling like that? What does she know? What the fuck is she smiling about? She just got booked. What the fuck is she smiling? Why is she looking like that? You understand? I don't want to even have a conversation with a woman that smiles like that. You know what I'm talking about? This bitch knows something. She was in the motherfucking Denali when it was on the way to Wright Street. She done heard something. It's giving Purge. You understand? It's giving heavy Purge. Shorty look cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Did you see Giuliani's picture? Did you see Donald Trump's picture? You understand? This picture should be called his mugshot translations. Nigga, you poking the bear. That's what the fucking mugshot is telling you. You done poked the bear. You understand? Fanny and all you niggas in Atlanta with the all you deputies and what? Niggas playing G.I. Joe. Trying to work for Joe. Doing Joe's dirty work. You niggas is doing Joe's dirty work, and he's going to make you pay for that. You understand? Look at this face. Nigga, he's not remorseful. That's not a remorseful face. This nigga's face is saying you poked the bear. That's what it's given. It's given the bear got poked. You feel me? It's given the bear got poked. And they are going to make an example out of somebody. I don't know who. But I know how these people play. You feel me? Oh, they're going to make an example out of somebody. If he ever becomes president, right? Fannie Mae got to get out of town. She got to go to Africa. She got to go with Burna Boy and them niggas. She got to go somewhere outside these borders. Because they not going to take to her lightly, bro. He already put the word out. Like, he subtly already said it, bro. She's a super op. She's a walking op. And he got the kind of people that will crash the fuck out. His crash out crew is more dangerous than yours. And I'm not saying that in no way to sound malice or anything. But his crash out crew crash out harder than our game. You understand what I'm saying? Them niggas really crash out, and they showed you that during his presidency. That's when they started crashing out, but nobody wanted to say anything. But they crashed out a few times on his watch. You feel me? Yes, it's amazing seeing mugshots. However, that ain't it. You know what I mean? And we are very symbolic and shit. Look at this shit right here. Look at these demons. This thing is on demon time. These niggas look like goblins. You know what I'm saying? The biggest W is the one of Giuliani, though. It's bigger than Trump. Giuliani mugshot, right? The fact that they got Giuliani with a mugshot, bigger than Trump. That Trump shit is whatever. That didn't wet my whistle and whatnot. It's the fact that they got Rudolph Giuliani with a mugshot. You understand? That was the one right there. Y'all don't know who Rudolph Giuliani really is. You can't know. Because once again, I have a young audience. So it's impossible to know who Rudolph Giuliani is, because when you were introduced to Rudolph Giuliani, he was America's president. Unsuspectingly, nobody never questioned that. So how would you know? Right? You would never know because nobody said anything. Nobody pulled your coat. Nobody hipped you. Nobody stopped that fuck shit when it was happening. I blame those niggas. I blame nobody. That nigga nobody, he ain't said nothing. Nobody was letting this shit rock up until today, and today is where it stops. When we put Rudolph Giuliani in a motherfucking pot and we explain to you why Nas has in a rhyme. I believe, what's the rhyme that Nas has? Is it where he say Giuliani is 666? It's one of those rhymes of his. You understand? You think Donald Trump is bad? Donald Trump just got into politics. Prior to that, he was just a crooked businessman. You know what I'm talking about? That all the rappers loved. Niggas was getting neck from coked up Becky's with Donald Trump right next to them in unisex bathrooms and whatnot, or in fucking places like PF Chang's and shit, fucking with whores. You know what I mean? They was in Scores, the strip club, in the Boom Boom Room with Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Why he's getting rim jobs and shit. Like, niggas is real close to Donald Trump. Don't let the rappers out of New York fool you. Don't let the rappers fool you. Yeah, they investigating Fanny. They on her ass. Pause. He took the soul out of New York. This dude right here killed hip hop. Quiet as kept. Remember when Nas said hip hop is dead? He was literally capitulating to the fact that New York was dead. You remember that New York left? Remember when hip hop ran away from New York? It was because of this cocksucker right here, bro. And that's a fact. You can ask anybody from New York. Giuliani was a crime boss that all the rappers was beefing with. Yeah, Giuliani and Trump wasn't a team, right? Giuliani was against Trump in the 80s. Thank you. Because he was Giuliani is a prosecutor turned attorney general. He was not fucking with Donald Trump like that until later on. Well, here we go. Let's look at this slide right here. Let me read this. Our former drag queen mayor, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Giuliani, was the worst mayor in my 40 plus years as a native New Yorker. And what that means is pre 9/11, before niggas started coming into New York, after the gates fell, after the kingdom fell, right? They rushed the kingdom. You know what I mean? But when the gates was up, before the towers fell, New Yorkers were we were behind the walls amongst ourselves. Okay? You really had to be born from there to be there. And that's no offense. I'm sure dudes in LA and other places, maybe you could relate, but New York wasn't a transient town. You couldn't just pass through New York, fucking set up shop. You couldn't just move to New York back then. Similar to niggas can't just move to O Block right now, can they? He did worse than stop and frisk, though. Yes, he instituted zero tolerance policies and other things, and stop and frisk was a part of that. But he did so much worse in New York. He literally chased hip hop out of New York, right? Trump got mad dirt on him. That's right. Because he's really a cross dresser. He is our modern day, quote unquote, J. Edgar Hoover or Gay Edgar Hoover. That's who he is. I say he comes from the same strain of J. Edgar Hoover and more than likely used his NYPD the same way Hoover used the FBI during COINTELPRO. And what I mean by that is Hoover used the FBI to kill niggas. Fuck surveillance. The FBI original that's a surveillance, that's regular shit. What the fuck? That's not COINTELPRO. That COINTELPRO means they went the extra mile. The FBI is called Federal Bureau of Investigation. So them tapping your phones, them following you, all of that shit, that's regular FBI shit. That's nothing to make, that's not where bombshells come from. Bombshells came out when they found out the FBI was murking niggas. You understand? Murking niggas. They was paying gangsters to slide. They were killing shit and blaming the gangsters on it. Similar to maybe a bombshell report coming out to say that the FBI is behind a lot of the drive-by killings in Chicago, Philadelphia, and other places where shit is basically, like New Orleans, where half of the murders are unsolved. A bombshell would be like, yo, it was the government killing niggas, and they were not just killing regular niggas. They had some shit where they knew who the messiahs were based off of the fact that everybody in the hood has their DNA collected, because damn near everybody in the hood is cased up. They have cases and whatnot. So they had a program where they could basically run your DNA through some type of quantum machine and could tell if you was going to birth a god, or if you had possibilities of God, or they could trace your lineage and your genome all the way back to the gods. And that's who they were sliding on, while niggas were in their quote unquote rites of passage period, where gods are quote unquote walking dead, or Hiram Abiff, when the gods is in the state where they are quote unquote caterpillars before they become butterflies. That's when these niggas, that's when they kill you. That's when they go out and spank you. Right? That's when they lock you up. That's when they case you up. That's when they put you under the jail. That's when you see young niggas 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 getting their heads blown off. That would be the bombshell when you find out that they were behind it and they knew who they were killing. It wasn't randoms. It was future kings. It was messianic forces. You understand? It was ancient Moors coming back. Shit like that. Don't think they don't play on levels like that. You'll be fooling yourself. So J. Edgar Hoover was after a black messiah. He knew something about the niggas that they were killing. The feds knew that they were just not murking regular people. He was after the rise of the black messiah. But if he's the FBI, and this is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, that works with the CIA and other intelligence agencies, they did not only look at people based off of what? What were their criteria? What do you think? Oh, I think this guy and this. No, they had a lot more that they were going with. More than likely genome, more than likely some form of being able to assess who is who. Because it's a bunch of gods mixed up with a bunch of regular niggas out here. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of gods jumbled in like tuna fish or sardines with a bunch of NPCs. And their job as investigators and their job as an intelligence is to intelligently point out who the fuck is who. Because they cannot afford, like J. Edgar Hoover said, we cannot afford the rise of the Black Messiah. We can't afford for the Messiah amongst them to wake up. And the Messiah amongst us is not one person, y'all. We've already broken that down. It's not one person. It's that energy. It's that fucking wave, nigga. It's that vibe. It's that movement. You understand? It's that shit that takes over multiple people. It's a spirit. But it's more like an energy. It possesses you. So he's a glizzy goblin. Let me repeat that. He's a glizzy goblin goblin for real, for real. Okay. If 9/11 was an inside job, he was on the payroll. He moved the mob out of the way for Wall Street and the corporations to take over New York City and other lucrative industry that the mob had strongholds on. Do you understand how the mafia moves, y'all? I don't know if y'all understand how mob works in big cities. The mob takes over the quote unquote trash or the garbage industry. You understand? The mob takes over the construction contractor industries. The mob takes over the fucking sanitation. Everybody has to get their garbage thrown out. Do you know how powerful, you know how much money is in that? They take over the contracting of real estate. Everybody has to build in these cities. So the mob is getting money 9 to 5 legally, and then they're doing mob shit 5 to 9. You understand? But when the mob appoints one of their own to be a district attorney or a lawyer, right? Yes, the mob runs waste management. They run the unions. That's the labor forces. That's the easiest way to raise and wash and clean the money, right? That's how they do it. So a mayor or a district attorney like this man who became a mayor, he first was a district attorney. He used his district attorney powers to clean up the competition. His competition was the organized mafia families of New York. Why does the mob not exist in New York anymore? This man is the reason right here. Prior to that, the mob ran New York. They controlled the whole New York. Everything in New York was mafia. They controlled the shores because New York has all of the docks. They ran the docks. They ran the unions. You understand? They ran all of that shit. They ran the strip clubs. They was bringing in the doogie. You know what I mean? What he did is he got them out the way, and he let Wall Street and Goldman Sachs and all of those other glizzy gobblers take over the motherfucking pot, right? Rudy, they called him the New Yorker of the year. They was on his sack in Sackington, right? But he's a piece of shit, y'all. I promise you, this is the glizzy goblin for real, right? Y'all bought into one of the greatest propaganda campaigns ever to make this creep likable and believable. This is a thug holiday in the mountains of New York City where hundreds of thousands are currently imprisoned under his draconian policies. Man, this shit is falling fast. You understand? So he's a cross-dresser. There's go Donald Trump, there go Rudolph, or there go Giuliani, right? There's Trump looking at him like, nigga, right? That's the mayor right there. You know what I'm talking about? I don't give a fuck what nobody say. If anybody pull up like that and they're the mayor of your city and they act like they're tough guys. This is not like this is a humble nigga. This is not a meek president. This is not a meek mayor, my niggas. This nigga talks big shit, bro. He's a shit talker. He talks out the side of his neck. He is a glizzy goblin. He's the fucking penguin, niggas. You know what I'm talking about? But this nigga thinks he's Marilyn Monroe. Imagine all of the ankle grabbing is going on when he gets in rooms with these other niggas, huh? Giuliani, yeah. Yeah, I told you he was a glizzy gobbler. You know what I'm talking about? He's a fucking glizzy gobbler. He's J. Edgar Hoover incarnated, I mean. You know what I mean? The mafia had dirt on Hoover. That's why they were blackmailing him, and that's why they were allowed to move around with impunity, because they had evidence on him being a glizzy goblin, right? J. Edgar Hoover. The mob was blackmailing him because they was hooking him up with the trannies. They got the same thing on this nigga too. He on Mac, yo. This nigga has a whole coffee table book full of pictures in him and drag, y'all. This is your man's in them. Look, New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani dressed in drag for a role in a satire of Victor Victoria at the New York Hilton. He started it and then he just kept on doing it, right? But this is the same mayor, right? Once again, they bury history and they don't tell people. You only hear about a lot of shit like this when Netflix decides to give niggas a quick little series and whatnot. You know what I mean? And they decide that they want to tell you all of these hidden stories and whatnot. But Rudolph Giuliani was responsible for a riot in New York City. They called it the White Riot, where he brought thousands and thousands of cops to City Hall, right, to bang on who? David Dinkins, our first black mayor. This nigga ran down and caused the riot. He basically got this riot is what got Rudolph Giuliani elected mayor, y'all. And it was on the backs of a riot where he basically says Dinkins got to go and the mayor's on crack. This is not Marion Barry, mind you. This nigga did not smoke crack. You know what I'm talking about? That was a fucking insult. Like, David Dinkins was not, he wasn't on that fucking pipe, niggas. So they had pictures of Mayor Dinkins with humongous lips, a nose, and an afro, including several calling the city's first black mayor a washroom attendant, right? This is the police, y'all. This is the niggas that they said to serve and protect. That's why I'd be like, what the fuck, who the fuck, and how the fuck are you niggas out here riding with the po-po? The day of the protest, Rudy Giuliani was also outside the building with a microphone. Giuliani, a former U.S. attorney, listen to this, and failed mayoral candidate in 1989, declared the reason the morale of the police department of the city of New York is so low is one of reasons and one reason alone: David Dinkins. The mayor doesn't know why the morale of the police department is so low, Giuliani said. He blames it on me. He blames it on you. Bullshit. Giuliani then attacked the Anti-Corruption Commission impaneled by Dinkins, which he said was to protect David Dinkins' political ass, right? So as a result of that riot, right, the Dinkins fucking era was over. And this nigga became the mayor and he terrorized us. He terrorized the African-American residents of New York City and whatnot with policies that basically put mad people in jail, y'all. Mad people in jail. He filled the prisons up, right? With that's where the fatherless homes come from. You understand? Not to say that these niggas was angels that was getting locked up. These niggas was on demon time. That let me not fucking cap for the heights that New York had fell into in the 90s. In 1990, under our black mayor, New York City was a murder capital. So I'm gonna give it to you both sides. Under a black mayor, our city was a murder capital of America. Under a black mayor, niggas was getting their shit pushed back. That's a fact. And crack was going crazy. That's a fact. But this nigga came up in this bitch and he made it a police state and he's behind 9/11. Nobody can tell me nothing about that. He was lock, stock. He was bought and paid for. Stop and frisk. So the majority of young black men who can't get gun licenses nowadays in their later terms in life, who can't own weed dispensaries, who couldn't get jobs, you know, in corporate America, is because they got locked up on some stop and frisk type of shit. And he initiated that. And then they exported stop and frisk to your cities and whatnot, throwing groups of young black men against gates and shaking them down and whatnot, fondling young black men, going their ass cracks. That's where Abner Louima comes from, right? Where they put a nightstick in this Haitian man's rectum. You understand? That's where Amadou Diallo, who got shot 51 times holding his wallet. You know what I'm saying? I believe that was underneath Giuliani. It was all kind of fuck shit going on in New York. They killed black people in Bensonhurst and all type of shit on his watch. We had race wars in New York. You know what I'm talking about? He's a piece of work. So I applaud his mugshot. I'm on my symbolic gesture shit with his funky ass because he gotta go. For real, for real. If anybody gotta go, he gotta go. He got to go. You know what I mean? He's top op. They call him the top cop. Let's not even talk about Bernard Kerr. He turned his chauffeur into the police chief. And then this nigga wound up going up north and whatnot because he caught a charge. The police chief was so crooked, that nigga wound up on Rikers Island with the crooks. How the police chief is on Rikers Island? Talk black to me. And this was his chauffeur. This was this nigga's chauffeur, right? This is the fucking Penguin right here. This is the Joker right here, right? This is all of them in one. He brought all of the rodents to New York. This right here is Splinter. Popping that Splinter. Yeah, nigga, this is Splinter right here. This is King Cooper, nigga. This is him. This is him. And he'll pull up to your house with a fucking wig, nigga. This is a serial killer. Nigga, this is Jeffrey Dahmer. This nigga pull up to your house with a wig on. Imagine getting kidnapped and they take you into a warehouse and this nigga come out with some Jimmy Choos on. And some fucking lashes. You know what I'm saying? Trying to work you. Yeah, he's the fucking crypt keeper. That's right. Yeah, this is Two-Face, niggas. You know what I'm saying? I need my brew house to work this nigga right now. Work him. You know what I'm saying? Here's his picture. Put it on your fucking shrine. Get to work. You know what I'm saying? I got some fucking Fenty for you. Get to work. You know what I mean? This nigga Ichabod Crane looking ass nigga. Get to work. You know? He killed hip hop. That's a fact. Ask anybody in New York City, they'll tell you he's the top op. The fucking Donald Trump is crooked because of this nigga. Donald Trump always was a work of art, but I think he refined his villainy fucking with this nigga right here. Talking about deep state this. Don't let him talk crazy. Don't let him play games. Deep state, nigga, you never said nothing about 9/11. What are you talking about? You're not hanging out with the right crowd, nigga. You didn't even say anything about that. You're still running with that story. So we can't believe you. We can't believe nothing he says. Astaghfirullah, you know what I mean? He's the top pop. But yeah, they out here in Atlanta locking old white billionaires up. You know what I'm saying? And it's you know, it's an empty gesture. It's a fucking empty gesture. Because I've said it before. It's not a lot of ownership in the city and whatnot, the way that it should be if they saying that this shit is a black city, a black Mecca. Why the fuck? A black Mecca. I would love it to be that. But these people is out here, they playing. They playing. They using motherfuckers to do their dirty work. You know? Whole Biden in them. You feel me? Whole Biden in them. You know? They got our women and whatnot, black women, you know, and they willingly doing it. It ain't like nobody twisting their arms and whatnot. But they making them the face of this rage that the quote unquote Republican Party has. They're making them the new scapegoats. They're making them the new scapegoats, apparently, because they declaring an all-out war on Fanny and Letitia James out of New York City, who's also a sister, right? Out of the Southern District in New York. She was the first one to indict Trump, but nobody ever got the mugshot. So now they got the mugshot on him. Now it's official. You know how people say, like, if you didn't never, if there was a fight and nobody recorded it, then the fight never happened in these days and times that we live in. So if a nigga get locked up and there's no mugshot, nigga, guess what? It never happened. It's the mugshot that makes it official. You know what I'm saying? It's the mugshot. So now they got the mugshot. He's the only president to be arrested and mugshotted and whatnot, or ex-president for that matter. And you know, that's what people are gonna ride out. That's the new feel good. That's the new feel goodism, like the Montgomery chair shit. This is the new Montgomery, Alabama riverboat fight. You know what I'm saying? And I only say that not to downplay anybody, but I only say that because, you know, tomorrow, then what? We need real results. A stain is a stain. We need real results. We don't need empty gestures and whatnot. We're a little too far behind the 8 ball to just be falling for the empty gestures. But if that shit is going to invigorate you to go to a higher level and do some other shit, then so be it. If seeing Donald Trump's mugshot will help break the spell that these motherfuckers are invincible and they don't get locked up and they're not criminals, then something beautiful has happened. Wonderful. You know what I mean? I could take that and run with it. Now, on to more stories because there's a lot of shit going on. We didn't even, you know, this shit was like, I got free trials to last longer than homie from the Wagner group. I got free trials on Hulu to last longer than this nigga, y'all. It didn't even take no time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he fucked around and crossed Putin. This nigga Putin, he wasted no time. Dead ass. Like, he was like, you know what? We're gonna knock this nigga off immediately. And he fuck with Vladimir Putin. That's the resounding message in this one. Leave Vladimir Putin alone, niggas who work with him, around him, plotting on him, that don't like him, who he owe gas money to. I don't know. Just leave that nigga alone. How about that? How about you leave this nigga alone? You know what I'm talking about? Because he'll catch the stain, nigga. He don't care. Like, apparently he don't got nobody to answer to. You understand? Because he's clipping niggas. He fucked around and found out. You know what I'm talking about? He fucked around and found out. You know? Yeah. Now, for him to have faked his death, you know, I seen Putin looking at the pictures of the crash. I'm gonna show you the picture. This is the picture. This is the last video of homie. This is Destro and G.I. Joe. This is Destro and G.I. Joe. He was in Africa ramping. He was in Africa trying to get them soldiers so they could go fight for NWA, right? Nigers with an attitude. Not niggas with an attitude, Nigers with an attitude. Not the Nigerians, but what do they call? I know Nigerians are from Nigeria. What do they call niggas from Niger? I'm wondering. You can tell me that. Yeah, NWA is Nigers with attitude. That's niggas from Niger. And Nigerians. Instead of Nigerians. That's confusing to me. So the last video they had, he was in Africa, right? I just call his name Porzingis, right? I don't know his full name. I mean, I don't know how to pronounce his name. So I just call the nigga Porzingis, right? And he was in Africa and they're recruiting in Africa because, as you can see, Niger just told, you know, they just had a military coup. You understand? They had a coup d'etat. And the Wagner group is backing them. The Wagner group is backing Mali. The Wagner group is Porzingis. That's his mercenary group. And we've done about 3 or 4 shows about the Wagner group, right? All Eyes on Africa was the last Great Fall episode I think that was episode 5. I might have to change this to 6. Shit keep falling so fast. I just have to. This Great Fall series is speeding up. You know, shit is speeding up. We might be at 10 before the end of the fucking the fall. But yeah, this one right here is a major political chess move that we just witnessed with the death of the Wagner boss Prozingin. Or I call him, you know, this nigga Vladimir Putin shitted on him in his quote unquote address. He made an address right after, and I said, I was like, yo, his reaction to the man's death will tell me if he killed him or not. It's not that difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to gauge a person's reaction. I watch enough true crime, nigga. I'm like, yo, because he's slick, right? Think about it. These are 3 things that stood out to me. Putin was at the BRICS summit, right? Putin was at the BRICS summit when homie got killed or when his plane crashed, right? So usually when a nigga get knocked off, the boss is not around type shit, right? Boss ain't around. The boss is like, you know, the boss is like, you know what? Hold on, let me share this screen with y'all. He'd be like, you know what? Do it when I'm not here. On some Michael Corleone type shit. Like, yo, when I leave, go and whack Fredo. Go knock that nigga off. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it while I'm in the house. Yeah, you're playing golf. Then knock off Fredo when I'm on tour. You know what I'm saying? So that you know that I didn't do it. Right? So Vladimir Putin risks, he couldn't just kill the man who has a standing army, because he would have to kill the whole army damn near. He couldn't just have him executed after he violated. He had to rock him to sleep because, once again, he has a standing army, and this army is instrumental in Africa. They need this army. This army is fighting the war in the Ukraine. They don't need this army to cause any mutiny amongst them, right? So he goes to the BRICS conference, and then when he goes to the BRICS conference, when he leaves the Kremlin, then he gives the head nod to kill him, right? So homie is in Russia. Here you go. I'm going to pull the volume on.
It is always a tragedy.
This nigga's talking super slick. Let me let you hear. You tell me if he's guilty or not.
Conclude what many believe, that this was a spectacular assassination ordered by a man who today said he was just catching up on what had happened.
Что касается этой авиационной катастрофы,
As for this plane crash, first I want to express sincere condolences to the families of all who have died. It is always a tragedy. And indeed, if there were people from the Wagner company, as the initial reports suggest, I'd like to say they made a significant contribution to our common cause of fighting the neo-Nazi regime in Ukraine.
Even after Prigozhin met military leaders in Rostov-on-Don in June and announced he was mounting an armed insurrection, the president met his old friend and allowed him a safe passage to Belarus. But you don't get to challenge Vladimir Vladimirovich. Prigozhin was a dead man flying.
Пригожина я знал очень давно.
I knew Prigozhin for a very long time, since the early 1990s. He was a man with a complex destiny, and he made serious mistakes in his life.
Earlier today, Putin met with tank crew who had destroyed Ukrainian armored vehicles. Western leaders are looking on, hoping that Prigozhin's death reveals disarray within the Russian leadership, fatal divisions that will undermine the invasion of Ukraine.
We know this pattern in Russia, in Putin's Russia. Deaths and dubious suicides, falls from windows that ultimately remain unexplained. This underlines the fact that a dictatorial power system that is built on violence knows only violence, at home and abroad.
In Niger, in West Africa, some are still hoping that the Wagner group will come to save them. From what, it's not quite clear. After the coup last month, they're making Russian flags to replace the French tricolore. Prigozhin has become something of a cult figure in the Sahel, despite evidence of massacres and plunder carried out by Wagner mercenaries.
So in Africa, this man Wagner, this man this got murdered by Putin, right? This man allegedly, this man who is the head of the Wagner group, right? In Africa, amongst black people, amongst Africans, he has a cult-like following before death. They was already on some cult-like shit, right? They say they buck dancing. He already had a cult-like aura to him before he got murdered. So now he gets martyred. He didn't get murdered, he got martyred, right? Because if Putin killed him, then he got martyred, right? So the cause that he gets martyred for is not going to go away. It's not going to dissipate. It's not going to just evaporate. It's going to explode. It's going to explode. You're going to see an increase in PMCs as a result of Prigozhin's murder. It's going to niggas don't die, they multiply, is what they say, right? So when you kill a martyr, when you martyr somebody, they multiply. So there's going to be infighting in Wagner for leadership. It's the same thing that happens when they take the head off the snake of a gang, right? Remember, the Wagner group, PMCs is private military corporations, right? Like how Blackwater was. That's what Wagner group is, a mercenary army consisting of prisoners. Do you know? I broke it down about a month or two ago on this show when I explained to you what the Wagner group is that has taken over Africa. And the Wagner group was responsible for defeating ISIS in Syria. And do you know what the president of Syria's payment to the Wagner group was? He gave them 35% of 3 oil fields. The same oil that you niggas is using in your cars today. But because they liberated 3 oil fields from ISIS and American troops and other foreign entities, he gave them a share profit in the oil fields and made them billionaires overnight. Then when they went into Africa, they got shares of the diamond and the gold mines for protecting Africans and helping them kick out the French. Come on, fam. This is the Wagner group. This is the same. The nigga that got killed and just now is a billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire, not a millionaire, billionaire. He's Destro in G.I. Joe. If any of you niggas remember G.I. Joe and Cobra Commander, Putin is Cobra Commander. That nigga was Destro. Remember when they got Brittany Griner and they traded her for the arms dealer? Right? Remember when they traded Brittany Griner for the Russian arms dealer? Right? That nigga is Prigozhin's son. He works for him. He's not bigger than him. He's his deodorant, nigga. You understand? Yeah, Destro is that dude. and he knocked them off. So it's going to leave a vacuum in Africa because they don't fuck with Putin like they fucked with him. You understand? The Wagner group is a mercenary group that was able to work in Africa and not be claimed as Russian armed forces. It's the same thing that America does with Blackwater and Kellogg's and Brown and all of them. There's if whoever's in the chat room who was in the armed services, drop an emoji. We're gonna teach the rest of the people today, so you understand what a PMC is and why I advocate for PMCs to be created in our community versus militias. You understand? Is mad PMCs in China, India, and Africa? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, hit me up again. Just say it's the cameraman. Hit me in the text and just say it's the cameraman and I'll hit you up. If you're not doing nothing tomorrow, you could pull up to Invest Fest with me. You know what I'm talking about? So the PMCs, the private military corporations, like I said, you can't be a militia. Look at what happened to the INFAC and all of that. That's dead. That's not it. That ain't it. That's not protected enough. A militia, that shit sounds criminal to me. Okay, so here's the people that's in the military. All right, if y'all in the military, who was able to move around with impunity? Was it the army that got an answer to their sergeant and fucking Uncle Sam? Or was it the contractors? Please let me know who's able to move around with impunity, who is able to kill with impunity, and who is getting more money. Was it the armed service? It was the niggas that signed up to Uncle Sam, or was it the contractors? I'll wait. We got army in the building. We got a bunch. It's looking like a G.I. Joe lineup tonight, y'all. Right? It's the contractors. Those are the big dog, right? It's the contractors. And here's somebody talking about what the Neanderthals is not about to do. Well, you know, speak for yourself. It's the contractors, right? Everybody knows that's in the service. You might not know anything about a contractor if you wasn't in that type of field and what. You don't even know what I'm talking about if you were a civilian. But I'm here to let you know that there are private armies and whatnot that have mad fucking power. You know what I'm saying? And they not answering to nobody. Yeah, Blackwater. Blackwater. Go and do the research on Blackwater's involvement in all of those murders during Katrina. You know what I'm saying? Go and do your research about Eric Prince and Blackwater's involvement with executing mad black prisoners during Katrina. And they had to disband and they renamed and all kind of stupid shit. But Wagner is Blackwater. Wagner, the Wagner group or the Wagner group is Blackwater 10 times. You know how they got finesse 2 times? The shit is Blackwater 10 times because, like I said, they became billionaires. Let me see if I would love to pull up my keynote, but it's not going to work right now. Yeah. So this shit is important. It's nothing. They are it's even before this man got murdered or executed or knocked off or whatever. Because if America was responsible for that, would Vladimir Putin be so calm? If the Ukrainians killed them, would this nigga be? You know, he's cooler than cucumber skin. But he was too cool in that interview. He was talking like a nigga who just whacked a nigga. Whack 100. His name is Whack 1000. That's Vladimir's new name, Whack 1000. There's no Geneva Conventions for militias. I am not. I repeat, I am not advocating for anything with the word militia in it. Do I have any movies. Why you got? I don't know about movie. Well, it is multiple movies referencing PMCs and whatnot. I don't know what the name of the Blackwater movies are, but keep in mind, in order for these movies to come out, they got to pass through the CIA. So don't look for the movies to give you the dirt, the down and dirty. You're going to get a sanitized Hollywood version of PMCs. Go and do the research and read a book to get the real information about. Don't go through Hollywood. It's sanitized. It's washed down. It's washed down. The CIA will not allow Hollywood to put movies out that's going to expose what the fuck is going on with the contractors. But there's mad books about it. Yeah, the movie guy with Ryan Reynolds, that's one of them, the movie guy. Go and see Lords of War with your boy. Lords of War with Nicolas Cage. The Expendables, Contractor with Chris Pine, right? And when you see these movies, just add a little bit of hot sauce to it because they're watering them down. They're watering them down. Black Hawk Down, Tears of the Sun. Yeah, A-Team was that's the A-Team, right? The A-Team was PMCs. Yes, the A-Team, B.A. Baracus, Marduk, right? Who they call Murdoch, but really Marduk, Face, and a few other members of the A-Teams. Those were PMCs. Yes, in a sense. You feel me? Private, basically mercenaries. Basically mercenaries. Feel me? Mercenary armies. So you have a mercenary army in the Wagner group who has their quote unquote tentacles and they have their fangs and these are not good people, y'all. Make no mistake that I'm not advocating for the Wagner group. I'm not an advocate. That man, I think he was beheaded. I think somebody in that plane crash was found without a head. It might be Prigozhin. I think he was beheaded. If you ask me, they killed him a long time ago. They been bodied him. They just crashed the plane. You know? 6 million ways to die. They been killed him. They just put his body, they probably just put 10 bodies on a plane and sent that shit up and then crashed it. You know what I'm saying? These are some wicked people. You know, they kill, the way that they kill is different. You know, you could fly a plane automated the same way that you could drive a truck or a Tesla. You don't need a pilot. You could put 10 bodies on a plane and send that bitch right into a mountain. And to be honest with you, when you look at the video, the plane took off and just came right down. You know what I mean? They said it was a bomb on it, maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's remote. You could remote control it. So niggas get killed every day, B. And like I said, behind enemy lines, you don't know what it is. Because that video of him talking, we live in the era of deep fakes. We live in an era of deep fakes. We live in an era of AI video. You don't know what's real anymore. A nigga could be like, yo, that's Red Pill's last video and got me saying some shit, and that ain't even me, fam. You'll have to run that shit through multiple programs to find out. That's how far we are in this game right now. So he could have been dead. They could have murked him the day that he tried to take over. Because honestly, nobody really seen him like that since. But who knows? But what I do know is that they said that he's dead now. So for you to fake your death, you would have to, because anywhere that you go on a plane, they have to record you in the terminal getting on a plane. I don't give a fuck if it's a private airlines. You have to get recorded walking down the tarmac. You have to get recorded getting on the plane. So it's going to have to see your face. And although you could get a Hollywood double or you could get lookalikes or clones and whatnot, nigga. You know, nigga. I remember Soldier of Fortune. I used to go to everybody's grandfather that was in the Korean War. Like, niggas used to have they pops. I fought World War One, young man, young whippersnapper. Yeah, like you go in old head's house and they had the motherfucking Soldier of Fortune magazine. You really don't know what's real anymore. We've crossed that threshold. Maybe like in 2020, probably, but definitely not 2023. You don't know what you're looking at. So here's an interesting connection that Nietzsche ID and others have made. This man was Putin's chef. What the fuck is going on with chefs? Everybody needs to protect Raekwon. You know what I'm talking about? All hands on Raekwon. Let's make sure that son is okay. You know what I mean? Because motherfucking Putin's chef just got killed and Obama's chef got killed. Like, what is there a fucking is there like what's going on? Is Jason Voorhees out here looking for chefs? Nigga, like, is there a chef purge, nigga? Is this chef drill rap going on? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Where's the chefs? Nigga, we gonna protect Raekwon. I know that much. You know what I'm saying? Where's Ghostface at? We're gonna protect both of them. You know? The grandfather talked about Pearl. I was on that ship in Pearl Harbor. Yeah. Where the fuck do you think the term war stories come from? It come from them niggas that was in World War One and II that talk with the shaky voice. I was out there, like my nigga, what's the nigga got beat up in Selma that crossed the bridge? What's my dude? They be telling them old stories. Chefs is getting cooked. Coolio was a chef too. Yeah, protect Steph Curry by all means. By all means, y'all. Shit. So yeah, he got knocked off. Clinton chef got bodied too in the 90s. Yeah, don't be nobody's chef. Yeah, John Lewis with the Selma shit. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be nobody's chef, y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Let them niggas heat up their ramen noodles by themselves. Because chefs have a short lifespan in these streets. So anyway, they knocked my dude off. You know? And it's going to cause a vacuum in Africa. It's going to cause a vacuum in Africa. The Nigerians and what is known as what is EOS, the puppet regime, right? Or the puppeteers of the Western powers. They are talking about attacking Niger, right? They talking about attacking Niger. So if anybody attacks Niger, ECOWAS. If anybody attacks Niger in the next few weeks, you better believe that they are doing that expeditiously because they have to take advantage of the fact that the Wagner group is now disorientated, right? Niger is allied with Russia, right? The Russia that they're allied with is the Wagner group. The Russia that they're allied with is this nigga right here. Do you understand? Russia can't necessarily go to war. It's fucking Russia. It's the big homie. They're not going to war with.
Who knows what will happen to them
but
now?
they'll let them go to war with Niger. That's why they were in Africa. They were doing the dirty work of Russia. They were fighting proxy wars. This is the private army. This is the secret. Remember Secret Wars on Marvel? This is the secret army. This is the private army. These are the contractors. These are the mercenaries. These are the fucking shooters. They do the work. They do massacres. They pillage shit. They can't do that. Russia can't do that abroad and just walk away from that. That they're not going to. These motherfuckers are on global stages doing big business with BRICS, doing big. They can't just be in different. No, they send the private military corporations. Yes, they're the Contras. They're the Contras. If the West killed Prigozhin, you would have seen a better a more reaction from from Putin. However, it was said that the Wagner dude had got paid money, the same money that went missing from Ukraine. They had missed like $60 million. They was like, it went missing. Rumor had it that money went to the Wagner boss to basically flip on Vladimir Putin, which made him attempt a coup. He turned around right before he got to Moscow and basically got banished and whatnot. So they said that he took the 60 million and kept it. Now, if that was the case, then maybe the Americans or the CIA or whoever else wanted to knock him off and they got his ass, caught him slipping. But I feel like it was Putin. Now my spirit is telling me the big homie crushed his ass. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's Zartan and them niggas. That's exactly who we talking about. That's fucking Zartan. That's Destro. Shit, nigga, that's the Baroness. This is what we looking at. You know what I mean? This who the fuck we looking at. That's what's going down. These niggas have billionaires running mercenary armies. These armies are toppling governments. Like, I don't understand if you don't realize the grip that they have on Africa. Like, they have more of a grip on Africa than China has. And you niggas been talking about China for all of this time. But the Wagner group or the Wagner group, they got more clout right now in French control Africa, not the whole continent. Let me clear that up. The aspect, what they call Francophone Africa, Francophone, the part of Africa that France was running. Nah, these niggas got that on smash, bro. Them niggas are shooting for them. Them Africans are shooting for the Russians at the drop of a fucking dime. You feel me? At the drop of a motherfucking dime. They riding till the wheels fall off. Facts. You know what I'm talking about? You don't got to tell them nothing. So they're going to be, it's not going to be that now that they killed them, there's going to be no PMCs anymore. No. The fact that they killed him, he's going to multiply. There's going to be mad PMCs now. Watch that shit explode. Watch it. Watch it explode. You're going to see some shit that you never seen before. Watch it explode. You know what I mean? But if they invade Niger, then there goes your world war right there. And I'm not saying that just to say it. There goes your world war. That's the beginning right there. It will be in Niger. I've said it before. I said it a few weeks ago. And I definitely see the pieces falling in place. The chessboard, the game is being played in front of us. The game has commenced. You know what I mean? The game has commenced. It's already the war games have already taken place. Nigga, fire tornadoes, fucking in Turkey and Greece, nigga. You got Turkey on fire, Greece on fire, Canada's on fire. Give me some fire. Where else is there on fire? Where else is there on Red Summer? Where else is on fire? Turkey is burning the fuck up. They big fire. These are all Moorish empires, by the way. Let me show you this. Turkey is on fire. Spain is on fire, right? Spain is on fire. Motherfucking Canada's on fire. Hawaii was on fire. Maui was on fire, right? No, there's fires right now. We know about Maui. There's some shit going down right now as I speak. Trying to figure it out. Which one? I know Turkey. I know Texas was burning. The shit looked like the mountains was on fire. Hawaii, we already know about Lahaina, right? With the suspected DEW, direct energy weapons. I don't know if it's the fucking crafts. The crafts might be getting busy. Peru is on fire. Morocco is on fire. Right? Everywhere that is an old Moorish province, shit is on fire. Mount Washington State is on fire. Like I'm from Baltimore. Portugal, right? Flooding, right? Siberia's in Spain, right? There's flooding going down. What the fuck? Why is all of these places that have this indigenous history on fire? How is that? Trump's been ignited, right? They poked the bear. Los Angeles flooding and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's just, is it a coincidence or what is it? I'm wondering. How many coincidences in the world do we have though? Like, I thought nothing was by happenstance yesterday, and today shit is just happenstancely taking place. But you know, I know that everything is connected. I know that everything is connected. That's right. Terraforming at its best. And we said it before, this is the war on terra firma. You understand? This is the war on terra firma. Something is waking up. And all of the shit that's going on, right? It rained in Southern California. God damn it. The poles have shifted. It's fucking raining in Southern California. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things that are taking place, you'll never hear me call or claim or blame climate change. You understand? Never. This is all ancestral. This is all Big Mama. This is all nature waking the fuck up. This has something to do with those solar flares hitting this planet. This has something to do with the DNA of the people waking the fuck up. That's what this is. You got hurricanes coming down the Pacific, y'all. You talk about the Great Reset. Well, you living in it. You're living in the Great Reset. Japan dumped the motherfucking radioactive water from Fukushima into the ocean. Imagine the hurricanes is going to come from that. Imagine how nature is going to respond to that. Right? But it's up. It is up. And that energy that I speak of is the energy in the people. It is fucking up. You could see it. You could feel it and whatnot. Like I said to Blue, them flash mobs where niggas is running out of them stores. Yeah. That has a lot to do with the people waking up. That's energy right there, emotion. You feel me? All that shit, all of them uprisings that you seeing, all of that bucking, all of that shit that you seeing. That's the people rising up. That's the energy waking up. A lot of lower chakra energy this summer. Nothing to get afraid of, or you know, don't take it personal. Shorties is twerking at the red light, hopping at the red light and doing what they do. That their root chakras are being charged up real heavy and whatnot. Real fucking heavy. The energy that's hitting this planet is hitting that root chakra real heavy, yo. You know? Allegedly, BlackRock was the largest investor in Maui. Yeah, no surprise. No surprise. The ocean was bumping today. No surprise. It never rains in Southern California. Did it rain to the point where it start flooding that bitch? It never rained in Southern California. Drill rap is apparently the most popular genre. You 3 years late. It been that. It been that. You know? These niggas having hurricanes and earthquakes at the same time. You went surfing today, big surf and big rip currents. Be careful out there, please. And they canceling mad flights. Yes, the solar mad flights is getting booked. Mad flights is getting shut down. So it is what it is, you know? It is what it is, man. The great fall. So many things around us are collapsing. So many things around us are dysfunctional. So many things around us are revealing themselves or being revealed. So many things around us are drowning. So many things around us are collapsing. So many things. So many things. Nipsey and Kobe was that, yeah, they angry. I would be too. I definitely would be too. So, and this ain't no feel good shit either. I'm just letting you know. Do not by any means give anybody any of this fucking grace and power that you seeing taking place. Claim all of it. Take your power back. You doing this shit. You feel me? You're responsible for this shit. It's all in your mind. You feel me? You're responsible for it. The ancestors, whenever the motherfucking doors open up on them suicide doors open up on them UFOs, nigga gonna come out with some locks. You know what I mean? And it ain't gonna be the motherfucking predator or the alien either. It's your people gonna come out of that. You know? These entities are coming to this planet to look for you. Not just to look for you, but to look over you. You know, they're called the watchers. They're not going to interject. They're not going to intercede. They're not going to come and fucking smoke that Black and Miles with you, nigga. That's not what they're here for. They're observing. Similar to if you had a time machine and you was allowed to go back in time or forward in time, but they say that you could look but don't touch. You have to sign all kind of papers and whatnot. But you could literally sit right next to your younger self and whatnot. You're vibrating at a pace where they can't see you with the naked eye and whatnot. Or you may be able to see them on some holographic shit and whatnot, but you just can't fucking touch them. You know? You just can't touch them. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Yeah, I heard about the brother in Mississippi, the Moore that got murdered. Rising power to that Moore. You know what I'm saying? That was very unfortunate. Somebody gave me that information today, I believe. SWAT murdered him in broad day. Yeah, man, shit crazy. So yeah, man, we back in the building. There's a lot of announcements to make. I will save them for Monday, Melanin Monday. Like I said, I got something monumental coming up with my good bro, Blue Pillar 44 and AA Rashid, right? That's gonna be in Atlanta, but it'll be available for live stream and it will also be live. This is called Dark Matter Timing, DMT 23, a metaphysical approach to many of the things that are taking place right before us. There's a way that we're going to interpret it that will even pale into comparison to how I am interpreting it right now, because visually, you know what I mean, and metaphysically, it's a different language. So we'll be speaking in a whole different language with you guys. It's called symbol literacy. It's called Kabbalah, and it's also called occultism as well as metaphysics in Atlanta the day after we go to Stone Mountain, which is on 9/9, or Crystal Mountain to charge up with hundreds of our contemporaries and family members. I saw people today that was like at the Invest Fest, and they was mad excited and enthusiastic about climbing the mountain and whatnot. It's been a while since we've done something public like this. It's time for the family to gather. It's a lot of shit going down. We may be facing a new lockdown. Who knows? I'm not going for it. I ain't going for that shit. But you know what they saying, what they trying to do. So it's time to gather. You know what I mean? We'll be shooting a video for Cambada that weekend. We might even be shooting footage for Red Opal's video. And then the next day, like I said, we're going to be doing something, me, Blue, and AA. Tickets are available. They're limited. KTLUniversity.com. Make sure you go and get them. Tomorrow, we will be at a special event, private event, with the good brother Bashir, his album listening party, and also with his older brother, 19 Keys, who's doing a network event from 8 p.m. moving on. And you can find those. The links are in their bios on Instagram, both of them. All right. But if you see me tomorrow, I'll have some tickets on me. So just holler at me if you see me at the Invest Fest. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for their time and their patience, you know what I mean, and being in the building with us tonight. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Love and light to y'all. Yeah, that part. I'm talking about that part. You know what I'm saying? So if I covered I'm just trying. Make sure y'all sign up to the Patreon too. For the month of September, I got requested some, I got some emails and whatnot, and we did a poll with a few people, and they said that they wanted some AI classes starting in September. You feel me? They said that they wanted some AIs. So I'm going to be doing some classes on Patreon that's going to be dealing with the AI, you know what I mean? And we're going to be doing deep dives because a lot of shit has gone on in the world of artificial intelligence since the release of ChatGPT 6 months ago or 7 months ago. It's mad shit, bro. I can't even begin to drop all of the information. So we'll be able to break it up into 4 weeks. Maybe 4 to 5 hours of class and whatnot. And yeah, we're gonna enlighten, enrich, and encourage many of y'all to, just level up your life and see this shit for what it really is and not be fearful of change. Don't be fearful of it. You dig? Do not be fearful of it. Embrace it and boss up from it. You feel me? So yeah, with that being said, we out of here. Red Opals. Make sure y'all go and stream that on the streaming networks. Yeah. Peace.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters. Tore the underworld, popping the mentor. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. What do you mean? We up and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running up banks, causing a crash and feather the feds. Moorish the fashion, horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, was blasting, mother the gas and loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon it formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the benches, we rinse and repeat. Sacred self, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded the bright lane. The hunger was biting, biting.